how to scrunch down a little.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for your patience. This is the first post show for the Med Fax Podcast. Miskwa the Mad Clown Prophet can be here today. So I'm the producer of the Med Fax. My name is Rihkeestrapp. I'm a full-time artist, and with me is the artist behind Gamimi, Asha. Asha, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, I'm Asha. I uh, am the one behind Gamimi and the Cat Girl Cult art project I've been working on for some time. I do a variety of things from painting to digital and media art, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us for this extra little debrief. I thought it was really important just because we recorded that episode probably close to a year ago actually. So you'll notice that when I talk about Pluto and Aquarius, I talk about it touching in and retrograding, but I believe as of the 20th, Pluto is actually in Aquarius. And we just have a really short retrograde, I believe in September this year until November. So we're really in the age of we're in the generation of Aquarius now. So we kind of wanted to talk about some of the things that happened since the recording, and just some of the things that we've seen happen, and just debrief a little bit about since we recorded that episode. So thank you so much for joining us for this little post show conversation. Did you wanna start us off in talking about what you've noticed so far in terms of Pluto Aquarius happening?
Um,
Or any for the records that you want to change from what you said previously?
I think the biggest thing is we're seeing a wide variety of humanitarian crisis compared to even before. It was always a thing, but now there's more and more from uh, the migrant crisis from Central and South America to what's going on in Palestine now. Like, we're seeing a lot of
in the
more stuff like
in the
that.
Congo as well.
Yeah.
And the a lot of countries that people were kind of just allowing these genocides to happen in the global south, and to black folks and people of color.
Mm-hmm.
But Pluto, while it brings that destructive qualities of the underworld, it's also transforming it and showing the whole population that it's happening. And it's kind of being this is enough, this can't keep happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to this really great talk the other day that one of my favorite astrologers was doing, Ra Aku. You can check him out. And he was going through a lot of different keywords and things about Pluto and Aquarius and those signs and each other. Um, and genocide was definitely one that came up with this generational change, and we've definitely seen that. And also how the Jupiter Saturn conjunction that took place in December of 2020 was really marking the beginning of this new age. Which, fun fact, it's that specific astrological event from which Miskwa found the prophecy of the White Lodge, which was our first episode that we produced. Um, yeah, so aside from the intense transformation Pluto of the collective in Aquarius, what are kind of some other manifestations of this general change that you're seeing?
Um, the talk around AI, that's a big one, and the impact on art and the impact on work.
And
Yeah.
war too.
War.
Yeah, because there was a lot of talk about how like AI and drones have been utilized in this genocide that's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just horrifying the way that like the drones are used to like psychologically torment the population in the Gaza Strip.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like yeah, the marking this change into Pluto Aquarius is like truly a horror.
Mm-hmm.
Truly a horror. Um so like there's all sides to things, right? So there's definitely like opportunities, and we talked about some pretty good ones at the end of your episode where you're talking about like really like building community and like
Yeah.
working with friends and things. So is there anything that you like imagine that could develop like in that space, or anything that you've seen developing already in that space?
Um. Yeah, more people organizing and protesting than ever.
Yeah, the
That's been a big one.
solidarity is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And like people making plans about like different ways that they can contribute is really cool.
Yeah.
I think too. Like just like, you know, a lot of people, it's like, what are you good at and what do you love doing and how can you do that to support a ceasefire and end this occupation? So it's like it's pretty exciting to see that for sure. One of the things that I've been thinking about also is like over the next 30 years, like what kind of technological advancements would be coming. And like one of the things that I was actually thinking about was like cold fusion.
Okay.
So thinking about like transformations in like the energy sector and things like
Yeah.
that. Just thinking about Aquarius kind of as like this interesting sign that is a water bearer but like an air sign. I often think about like the in between spaces of elements and like how they interact with each other, and like how similar the symbol for Aquarius reminds me of electricity too. um yeah, so I'm always like hoping that there's going to be some kind of scientific advancement that will really shift our energy uses. Like one of the things I was thinking about Pluto is like the death of our obsession with petroleum.
Yeah.
Like what do you think?
No, I was talking about that earlier. About even like fundamentally, if people that don't believe in green energy should still believe in clean air and not being reliant on one energy source. Like, I don't think we're gonna eradicate petroleum use completely because there's just some things that do work better with it, but I think we can reduce it to where it's a manageable, not harmful amount and not have it be the majority of fuel use.
Yeah.
But I think until way down the line, it'll still be used for some kinds of machinery and things like that, but not to the point where it's devastating the environment like it is now.
Yeah. Yeah, that would help, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like when we were preparing to have this like kind of debrief after the episode, you also had a prediction for the last time that Pluto retrogrades into Capricorn, which is just going to happen for a short period of time.
Yeah.
September to November. So do you what do you think's going to happen, Asha?
Yeah, I think it's gonna coincide with I think Donald Trump's gonna win the next U.S. election, and it's gonna coincide with the Pluto retrograde into Capricorn. And that's what I think.
I mean, like, I haven't really been following the election at all, so I don't even know who's in the riding right now. I just know DeSantis, he backed out, right?
Yeah, and endorsed
Thank
Trump.
God for that.
Yeah, DeSantis was scary. And Trump's still scary, but
Oh,
and
yeah.
unfortunately, it looks like he's taking the lead by a lot.
Yeah. I mean, because one of your predictions in the episode was the escalated violence towards trans people, and
Yeah.
DeSantis definitely doesn't have the best track record in that
No.
department.
Florida just passed a bill mandating conversion therapy, or that insurance companies cover conversion therapy. So that shows
Mm-hmm.
where DeSantis is at right now.
Yeah. And the efforts taking place, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and so I think like yeah, because it was a year ago that we recorded the episode that just aired. It was like at the point where Pluto was just dipping into Aquarius in the springtime, and then now it's like officially in it. It's officially there. And why does it keep dipping back and forth? Well, just for folks who don't know, like Pluto retrogrades half the whole freaking year. Like I think it's like every year too.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so.
so it's moving back and forth, but this is kind of the last time that it's gonna pass over those critical degrees again. So we'll see if it's Donald Trump winning the next election. I'm voting heart attack. So in the fall time we'll have to come back and do a debrief of the debrief to see who is more accurate in their delineations of in Pluto in Aquarius. But yeah, so some other things I was thinking about was the dumbing down of society because like we have Pluto as a transformation and Aquarius as the collective. So it's like how many different ways can we imagine these archetypes manifesting in the real world? And that was one that I was just thinking about. One of the things that I really loved about Ra Aku's talk was he was saying that Aquarius can be associated with the LGBTQ.
Mm-hmm.
So from this, I can interpret Aquarius as the gayest sign. So I'm really excited about the gay revolutions that are going to take place in this era. And I think that's also in like what you were talking about in the importance of community, because I think that for any massive change to happen, there's usually like kind of a scary period of change where people are heavily resisting that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like when I think about the overall history of the LGBTQ plus movement in like Canada specifically, where we're situated in so-called Canada, uh, it's basically like the violence against trans folks is like repeating the same pattern of like this extreme villainization of like gay men.
Mm-hmm.
And what is like helpful in that sense is that we can point to that history to be like,
Yeah.
we know that this has no merit. This is just this ridiculous thing that we fought so long against in the past, and we can't let it happen again. And so like yeah, protecting our friends, protecting our trans friends, I think is just super important in Pluto Aquarius. And even if we don't have the tools for getting along, like how can we learn that over
Mm-hmm.
this next 20-year period? Because it's a long period of time. We have time to learn and we have time to change.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So one of the things that we were talking about a little bit earlier too, was how the economic crash in 2008 when Pluto entered Capricorn
Yeah.
was changing the economy, and like of course there was the housing crash in the States, and Canada was kind of different. But one thing that I didn't mention was this statistic, which was 900,000 youth jobs were like completely eradicated around that period of time. So like Pluto being like a kind of death and loss loss, like completely like transforming like work for like that generation coming into it. Because like basically when we started work, it was like you're gonna be working contracts until you're at least in your like 30s.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are still working contracts way beyond that, as opposed to having like permanent positions. And these jobs have never been like replaced since, so it really transformed like working, at least where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, was there any other delineations that you thought were interesting or important to talk about?
I had one, but I forgot it.
Well, we still have like a couple minutes, if you happen to think about it. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for this debrief. And thank you so much for supporting the Med Fax. There is actually a fundraiser. If you go to snipfeed.co/Misqua, you can donate to support amazing artists like Asha, to be on future episodes, to have more of these really cool conversations about art and astrology and the future. So thanks again for coming, Asha. I always appreciate your perspective. So it's great to just chat a little bit longer and keep watching the stars.